Hello, how are you? This is Els and this is Bemis Crafty Corner, and this is part 3 of a 3-part free class on the faux vintage French document holder. Okay, so we started this off in part 1 making the cover, and that consists of 2 pieces of 110-pound Recollections cardstock that are 4.5 inches by 10, 1 piece that is 2.5 inches by 10, and 1 piece that is 1 inch by 10. And these are our covers. And then this is the spine. So you're going to score it at 1 and 1.5, and that's going to give you a nice 1/2 inch spine. And then this piece is going to become the template for everything else that you do. So we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to go ahead and in that video I explain how to get this template, okay? Because you've got all kinds of holes and lines and things on this. And so we're going to explain that in video 1. At the end of video 1, you have the cover that looks like this. All right? So the next part is getting 5 to 6 envelopes, entirely up to you, and some paper. And we go through and I talk to you about how to create the pockets. Some of these open on the side, some of these are just regular envelopes, and how to get them to the point where they're ready to be bound. Okay, the paper that I use for this, is from Romantica Arts. There's several. I mean, you can look online on Etsy and stuff. There's a lot of them for these tall skinny journals. That's the ones you're looking for. And when you print these, you want to print them in a photo printer at 8 by 10 inch photo, and you want to shrink to fit. That's the right size for your envelopes. So the envelopes that you want are the number 10 envelopes. These are 4¼ inches wide by 9½ inches long, and you're going to want 5 or 6 of those. This was just a piece that I have. It's just a piece of vintage like ledger paper, and I'll show you what I did with that. So when I cut these, I cut them so that I had all of the little, lines and stuff in them, so that I could put them on my envelopes and make them more interesting. And for these ones that I opened on the side, I just basically had to put the paper on them. But for the ones that have the pocket, I took 1/2 and tore it in half. I put half on the flap, half on the inside flap, and then I used a piece of this vintage looking ledger paper to put a writing space on it. Okay, so then we popped all our holes and we did all the things that we needed to do, and we are now ready to do the binding. So since you're probably going to be doing the binding and then doing some decorating and adding some pockets and things and stuff like that, you are definitely going to want all of your standard tools: paper trimmer, scissors, ink and a dauber, glue, all that stuff. You're going to want all of that. And you're also going to want either a large, like an extra long, we're talking high top tennis shoe type shoelace, or a piece of string that's about 1 yard long. Okay, you're going to cut it down, it's not a problem, but you're going to want a piece of string that you're going to use for this that's about 1 yard long. All right, so go get your supplies, get out your document holder to this point, and then come back and we're going to put this together. This is the easy part, guys. I'll be right back. All right, so you should have some leftover cardstock that you can use to make additional pockets if you want to make additional pockets for this. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big pockets. So additional pockets may not be necessary, but you may want them. And if you do, you do have leftover pieces. And of course, you'd probably have leftovers from your actual decorating paper. But what we're going to talk about today is actually putting this together. So we're going to get these out of the way. And we're going to open up our cover so that the 2 holes, the side that has the 4 holes with the 2 holes close together, is facing away from us. And then we're going to get a piece of string or twine. I'm using a piece of burlap twine, just because I like that look, you know. And I'm going to put it in one side and then put it in the other side. So, sorry about that. She seems to think that there's somebody out there. So, I just want to make sure that I have it in there nice and even, and then I'm just going to come back up through the end holes. Well, I'm going to try to. All right, so coming up through the end holes. Sorry, she's whistle command trained, so I get to make her shut up. All right, so I have that. And then I'm going to bring in my pages, and I'm going to start with the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to make sure that they're facing in the right direction, and I'm going to thread each one of these onto the string. But Alice, can't I do them all at once? Yeah, you can try it. And then the next one. I don't care how careful you were, these holes are not perfectly lined up. Okay, and the next one. Now you can do all the bottom holes and then come back and do all the top holes. Absolutely. But we're going to do these one envelope at a time. One envelope at a time, sweet postmaster. The next one over. String through, get this top one up here. And my last one. Now, as I said, you may have 6 envelopes, so you may have one to go still. Maybe you have 7 envelopes. You could really put as many envelopes in here as you could fit in that 1/2-inch spine. And of course you can make adjustments to the spine. If you want it to be even wider, you could make it even wider. So then we're going to take it and fish it through the top hole. I am going to cut this just a little bit because it kind of got away from me. There we go. And I'm just going to make that snug, and then you're just going to tie this. Put a big old bow in there. Tie it in a knot if you feel the need. Okay, and then just cut these down. All right, so that, at this point, is where you are going to fold this right here. And these become your pages. You can give this a little wiggle room so that it moves a little bit. Doesn't have to be that tight. There we go. Because you want to be able to kind of move these. So you're going to put a little crease in this so that you can, you know, pull it back and see what's in here. But you're going to boop, 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 boop. And this is always just loose. That's kind of the deal. Okay? So if you need to, you know, open it up and give this just a little snugging. But the idea here is that this was not perfect, okay? This was just a way for you to carry your documents all in one place. So, you know, you would have your identity papers in here and maybe the title to your lands. So we're going to snug that when it's open, and that's going to make sure that it gives you enough room to flip them. But you can also open this up and you can take envelopes in and out, put more envelopes in. And now you can decorate till your heart is content. And if you want to take up a little bit of that slack, you could put a pen in here. Just take a pen, put a pen in, and it kind of eats up a little bit of that cord. This is not the greatest binding, but it is a very traditional French vintage binding. Okay? And open. And it just takes it a little time to kind of wear in. But now I have, you know, I have these big pockets here, and I have big envelope pockets here that I can put stuff into, and another big pocket here, and another big envelope pocket. And you can do anything that you want to decorate this. This looks like it's torn, and so it needs to be fixed. Let me grab my stuff real quick. Sorry about that. And, well, since this part's already torn, we'll just get a piece of this. It's not really a torn piece of paper. It just looks like it is. So I just want to make it look like it's been repaired. There we go. So just put a little piece of tape on there. All right. That is it. That's the project. You know, like I said, it's not perfect, but it works. Okay? So, I hope that you enjoy this. If you have enjoyed it, go ahead and leave me a message in the description. And if you have any questions, put those in the description. But that's it. Literally, guys, that's it. The only thing left to do here is to do some decorating, and I am going to leave that for the craft with me, where I'm going to be doing some decorating in here. So join me for that. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.